Hey guys, welcome to our Friday Q&A. This is Rose from Rebel Leader Academy, and hopefully, unlike Wednesday, our internet doesn't have all kinds of problems. Hopefully Facebook continues to show these lives. That would be awesome today. So as I was going through a lot of the questions this week, kind of a theme emerged out of all of them that I want to address, which is people tend to send questions around personal problems. Just fine, we all have personal problems. But, they tend to be like around having issues in my marriage, or, I'm non-conventional, I'm having issues in my marriage, or I'm non-conventional, I'm having issues in my job, career, I'm not getting along with my coworkers, whatever, right? So they tend to be in this realm of personal problems. And the real issue with that is that people get really angsty about their personal problems, which makes sense. But the core of the problem is that their problems that they worry about and they think about, they aren't actually big enough. So the reason that people feel so unfulfilled, especially people who kind of have this rebellious nature, and underneath what they really want is to start a revolution of some kind, we're taught to focus on our personal problems. We have this very myopic view of life. And although we're exposed to political problems, global problems, we aren't trained to take those problems seriously as our problems. We're trained to be a passive observer of these problems, right? Even in our shows, like in the TV dramas, all of that, it's always about some kind of drama around relationship or career or love or whatever. It's never, very rarely rather, about some kind of bigger topic. Like we have, like an Erin, what was her name? Erin Brockovich or whatever, that kind of a movie where they're dealing with, hey Dale, they're dealing with something that is on a much grander scale. And I want you to think about this quote for a minute, which is by Eleanor Roosevelt. It's one of my favorite ones, right? Which is, great minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, and small minds discuss people. So if you go through your life in your day-to-day and you think about it, what is really hanging you up? When you wake up or you get pissed off at somebody, what is it that you're getting pissed off about? Is it another person? You don't like that personality? You're clashing with them? They're a bitch, they're a dick, whatever the case may be. Is it an event that happened? Probably in your own life. Somebody did something to you, you got cheated on, whatever it is that's causing you some kind of event drama, again, around people in your life. Or is it something bigger? Is it around a philosophical idea? Is it around some kind of big grand debate? Is it around global warming or animal rights or human right violations? What is it that preoccupies so much of your mind? So what we're focusing on, if it's a small personal problem, we end up in this state of feeling like a victim, which seems a little strange at first, because you would think if you're talking about and thinking about global problems and kind of big things that need solving in our world, that would make you feel like a victim. And for some people it does. But what I know about rebels is that we actually connect more to those grander problems. We connect more to, that is a huge injustice, or this entire global system needs to change. Maybe, it's the economic system that you're disagreeing with, or the food system. Maybe you're against GMOs and Monsanto or something like that. Maybe you're against vaccines. These are all hot topics, right? And if that is actually your focus, having this rebel archetype, you're going to be way happier about focusing on those problems and realizing that all the drama in your little life is just that. It's beyond, you're beyond that little drama. What you need to be focusing on is way bigger. But how the hell do you do that, right? We're gonna be talking about that next week, is how do you move from, yeah, I get it, these global problems actually fire me up. They fire me up way more than other people I know. They get me way more invested, and I do research and I try to look at the solutions, but then I don't do anything. I don't act on it because I've never been taught how to act on it. I don't even know where to start. I don't even know which which one of these global like issues I even want to focus on. And I was there, you know, at the beginning of my career and all of this, I was all over the place. I cared. It felt like I cared about everything on every scale. And that was, of course, draining and horrible and made me feel totally insignificant. But when I started focusing on, all right, what are my actual strengths, my personal interests, what's my background really like? And I went through this whole sequence of things to come to, oh, okay, I know what my mission is. My mission is going to be to move humanity out of scarcity. And that's a very specific way that I use that in terms of how our minds are set up to live in scarcity. So out of scarcity into global systems of abundance, which means changing every global system, because those systems, they were all formed out of our scarcity mindset in times where our technologies weren't able to produce enough for everybody, which now they are, and I'll go into that later. But once I got that focus and I was like, oh, wow, holy shit, like the stuff in my life, not that it doesn't matter, but it's not what I wake up thinking about. Like, I don't wake up thinking about, oh, did I have an argument with my best friend? Or, oh, is this person cheating on me? Or, you know, whatever people talk about, all right? Whatever is in your head. Once I had that clear focus, I actually became an entrepreneur. And I said, well, if that's my personal gigantic mission, what's the first thing I need to do? And I created, it took me 5 years or so to get to the point of being able to create this academy, which I was like, all right, so if I need to shift over global systems, I'm not going to be able to do this myself. I don't even know where to start, really. I have the theory, I have the framework, I see how the shift will work, but I need people invested in this idea. I need people who understand that abundance is actually as big of a problem as scarcity. And the fact that we have these technologies right now that are so powerful that we will annihilate ourselves with them if we just keep going down this path. I need people to see that and believe it and stand up and be like, you know what? That part of the problem over there, I am really invested in and I can help answer. And, you know, I created groups like my vertical farming group and things like that to try and gather people to start talking about these problems and saying, all right, so if we're having this, let's say, problem around food production in the world, and we have this idea of vertical farms or aquaponics, how am I going to play a role in doing that? Am I going to start a vertical farm? Am I going to create a technology around it? Am I going to be the voice for it? And that's the kind of thinking that I'm talking about when I say your problems are too small and that's why you hate your life. Because you end up feeling meaningless. You end up feeling like, am I really, is this it? Is this really it? I'm just here to what? Argue with people or try to solve these small scale problems. And I see this frustration of your problems being too small come up all the time in my conversations. So put yourself in the position of if you were somebody like a president, or if you were somebody more specific, let's say the one that's coming to mind is Elon, because we just posted about him the other day, right? So here's this man, and he's waking up every morning thinking about, how the hell do I geoengineer Mars so that I can possibly save some of the human race when our planet goes to shit, right? This is what he wakes up thinking about. How can I, and then smaller, tiny problems like, how can I build tunnels under LA to get traffic from place to place without having all of this nonsense? How do I change cars? How do we stop this whole, fossil fuel issue and move everybody over to electric? Because it's a better option, right? All of these things, this is what he wakes up thinking about. I mean, I'm sure he has his own drama, but it's not, I'm sure, his focus, because if it were his focus, he wouldn't be able to do all of the world-changing things and have the kind of impact that he's having if he was caught up in all of these small egoic problems. So as we go into the weekend, I want you to think about, when I'm feeling angsty, when something negative is coming up, when I'm, in my own head, what is it? What am I thinking about? Is it a personal problem? More than likely it is. It's a personal thing. Or am I thinking and getting angry and I'm getting all fired up about one of these global problems that, although I don't know exactly how I'm going to change or how I could change, I know that I'm passionate enough and I feel it inside of me that I have some kind of energy for this in me enough that I might start figuring it out. All right, guys. So that was today's Q&A Friday. Again, for next week, if you have some kind of question around this issue or anything else around the Academy, being a rebel, how to find your mission, any of those wonderful topics, you can go ahead and write to me directly at rose@rebelleaderacademy.com. I'll put it in the comments, and I will address those questions in next week's Q&A. But until then, have a wonderful, gorgeous, gorgeous weekend, and start connecting with those bigger problems, the ones that actually matter. Because I only touched upon it right now. I'm going to go deeper into it, but we're at a critical point as a species on this planet. Critical. And more than ever, we need rebels, because rebels are the ones who think unconventionally and are willing to come up with those, quote, crazy ideas that can actually change the world, that can actually save us as a species. Not only save us, but I have a lot of hope, but actually move us into a space of grand abundance on a scale that we haven't seen, unlocking human potential and ingenuity and abundance and beauty just on a scale that we haven't seen. So I'll leave you with that. I love you guys, and I can't wait to see you again on Monday. Okay, bye for now. Mwah.